Hey there! So I was able to get my hands on a sample of the recently re-released version of Tom Ford's Amber Absolute. Now, if you haven't heard, he re-released Amber Absolute this month for a limited time. Be about 6 months or so, they say it'll be out. Currently it's available at Neiman's. I believe Lucky Scent has it. I don't know if any other retailers will be getting it. You can order it through his website also. It's at the same price as the rest of the private blend line is. They did bump the prices up a few dollars last month. Supposedly, if this release of Amber goes well, they will start re-releasing other discontinued scents. So we'll see. But the question on everybody's mind is, how good is the juice? Has it been reformulated? Is it the same concentration? Does it smell the same? Does it perform the same? Of course, Amber Absolute is one of his, well, not really, it is unquestionably the most popular of the discontinued Tom Ford private blends. It is the one most people spend gobs of money on eBay and elsewhere. Some of the other ones go for a lot of money, but this is the one people go nuts for. So, I have my original bottle right here that I purchased years ago and split years ago, and this here is the re-released version. Now, upon first look, I've seen this juice 100 times, so I know what that looks like. Upon first look, you can see that it has the same very deep, dark brown color. So that's a good sign. I have worn this for a full day. And I can tell you that this is pretty good. For a re-release, I am very happy. I had read some reviews online of people who had smelled it previously that used words like horribly reformulated, smells nothing alike, things of that nature. And in that regard, I disagree. I do not think that this has been horribly reformulated. I think this smells just about the same as the original. The smell of the two, I'm trying to figure out the right way to phrase this because there is a minor difference. Very minor, but it's there. They smell the same. This one has a richness to it, has a depth to it that a lot of the originally released private blends in their original formulation had. This one has some of that, not quite as much. Now, what does that mean? Should you buy this? Yes. I think if you are looking for Amber Absolute, which I would advise you only to do so if, number one, you live in a cold weather climate, number two, you like amber a lot, number three, you like very resinous, deep, dark juice. That's what this is. That's what the original was. If you don't like that, don't waste your time. Close this video. This is not for you. This has always been a very polarizing scent to others. It can come off too brash, too strong, too overwhelming, cloying, to those who don't like it. If you like that kind of thing, if you like amber, if you like that type of scent, it's among the best there is. So, I would recommend to you, if you're looking for that, if you're looking for Amber Absolute, if you haven't tried it, you can go for the re-release and get a pretty good representation of the original. It's not quite 100% the same, but it's real close. Real close. And this coming from somebody who honestly has had a very jaded view of the private blend line of late. Those of you who follow my channel and maybe follow discussions that go on Facebook and elsewhere know that the private blend line across the board has been reformulated and weakened universally. It's I don't know exactly how many times it's happened. I have been able to get some inside information. I don't know how inside it really is, but I've spoken to some people who would be in a position to know, who have confirmed that yes, they did reformulate the juice. But if you smelled it, you could make that conclusion yourself. If you smell the tobacco vanille, the Noir de Noir, Oud Wood, Tuscan Leather, that's in stores right now, it doesn't hold up to the formulation that was out when it was originally released and in the years subsequent to that. It just doesn't. They smell similar, but the performance is significantly weaker. The reviews you see online of tobacco vanille and all the juices I just listed being these heavy hitters, these bombs, these, gonna last 24 hours on your skin. If you go into a store right now, it's not gonna be like that. You won't get that. This fell into that category. In fact, this was one of them, probably stronger than all of those. This, outside of Velvet Gardenia, is, in my opinion, this was the strongest private blend. Lasted forever. In a sense, almost too long. So what you get out of this is not comparable to present-day tobacco vanille, to original tobacco vanille. This one doesn't quite last as long as this. But that's a relative term. This would stay on your skin for a good solid 18-24 hours if you put a couple of sprays on. But in reality, you don't need that. You really shouldn't be wearing fragrance for 18 to 24 hours straight. Number one, because you probably haven't showered in that time frame. And number two, it's just not necessary. It really isn't. So, you can easily get a good solid day's wearing out of this, which in reality is all you need. It performs well. It's not as overwhelming as this. It's not as cloying as this. It's not as intrusive, we'll say. That was always the downside of this, is that it got to be a little bit too much after a while, and it could be difficult to wear in a lot of situations. So, in that sense, this could almost be good. Depends what you go for. But I would recommend it. I am pleasantly surprised by this. I have to say I was not expecting a lot. Based on Tom Ford's track record over the past few years with his releases, what he's done to his old juice, with a lot of the things he's put out recently, I was expecting a very weakened version of the original. Possibly reformulated to a point that the smell was noticeably different. I don't get that. I don't think the smell is noticeably different, other than the richness quality that I talked about, which is probably, if I had to guess, this is probably a slightly lower formulation. Concentration. They don't put out the exact concentration of the perfume chemicals. I would guess this is maybe a few percentage points lower than this guy. But that's not a bad thing. I would not use that as a reason to tell you not to buy this. So, that being said, why not split it? What the hell? The bottles are available now. Let's do it. So, I just decided to do that split right on the spot there. I hadn't thought about that beforehand, so I don't have the prices. I'll put them below. Probably only do this in 25 and 50 milliliter portions because, frankly, I don't want to send out 25 10 milliliter packages. I'll be honest with you. I don't have the time these days to send out 25 packages of 10 milliliters. I'll put the prices down below for the split. But I would recommend it. I really would. This is good. Now, one final thing. Would I mix these two together? Would I pour this into here? No, I wouldn't. For me, this is too... I don't want to say, it's not sacred to me. Frankly, this is not even my favorite Tom Ford. It's not even my favorite discontinued Tom Ford. But I know I can't get this anymore. I would wear these interchangeably, but I wouldn't mix them. So, if you have some of the old stuff and you buy some of the new stuff, keep them separate. Probably wouldn't be a horrendous thing if you mix them, but keep it separate. So that's that. If this trend continues, I have to say, if this trend continues and he releases these old ones, the likes of a Moss Breche or Japon Noir, Bois Rouge, Purple Patchouli, the one I still don't have, I would be very interested in buying them, and I would highly recommend you do the same. The only one that he might run into a problem with is the Moss Breche. Supposedly that release originally had real oak moss in it, which is now banned. You cannot use that. So that one might be a little different. But either way, I'm happy. I'm for once happy with Tom Ford. He did something right for the first time in years. And like I said, if this trend continues, maybe a few more Tom Ford splits in the future if these previously released juices come back, because they were some real good ones in there. He got rid of some real good juice and replaced it with some garbage. So that's that. Amber Absolute. Seal of approval right here. Alright? See you soon.